Hey friends, welcome back to She's at It Again. If you are a baker, you are one of me. I love baking, and there's few things I like better than baking a good loaf of bread. Now, I know you have friends and you want to gift them with all these wonderful breads and they say, don't give it to me, I'll just eat it. And that's the whole idea behind it. But I get not wanting to eat that much bread, but it's just so much fun to see how creative you can get with your bread. But I hear a lot of people talking about buying bread flour. Now, I'm hoping that this hint or this hack will make you go, okay, well, that makes it a little easier. That's the whole purpose of this video. I'm not trying to show how smart I am because that's not the case. I'm really not that smart. But years ago, I learned that bread flour has more protein in it, and that's why it gives that great, as what they call a chew to the texture of the bread, something like a really good pizza crust or even a loaf of a brioche, or, well, really not necessarily a brioche, but just a good hearty loaf of Italian bread or something like that. But the reason it has more protein in it is because it has extra gluten in it. Now, I know that's kind of a big taboo word out there, and people are like, oh, I don't do gluten. That's okay. This video is not for you. These are for the people who can tolerate the gluten, because I get that. I have a lot of friends who are gluten intolerant. But I want to show you how to make bread flour with 2 simple ingredients. And when I say simple, I mean like flour is one of the ingredients. So real quick and to the point, this is some of the flour that I use. I also use a different brand from a different store, but there are all kinds of good quality unbleached flour out there. And make sure you used unbleached, just not necessarily for the bread flour purpose, but for health purposes. And if you've heard me talk about the dangers of bleached flour, you know what I'm talking about. So a good unbleached, preferably organic flour. And then here's the key ingredient. This is called Vital Wheat Gluten. Now, this is not obviously the container it came in. This is a pickle jar, but I like keeping things in jars so I can see how much I have in the container in my pantry just at a glance. But this comes in not a huge bag, but a small bag. It's not expensive. But to make bread flour, you simply use 1 cup of this and 1 teaspoon of this. So if your recipe calls for 3 cups of plain flour, 3 cups of flour, and then 3 teaspoons or 1 tablespoon of Vital Wheat Gluten. How simple is that? Not only will this save you probably money in the long run, because people pay a lot of money for bread flour, but this is going to save you storage, because you don't have to buy a different flour to make bread with than you do to make, say, pastries or biscuits or something like that. It's all the same. You just simply add this to it right before you use it. You don't have to store it differently, anything. I keep this at room temperature in my pantry, and it stays fresh for a long time. I've probably had this, well, probably not quite a year, because I really don't use it that much. I just tend to skip that process. But if I'm really concerned about having that certain texture, and you know what I'm talking about, if you know what that term, the chew to the bread or the crust is, I just don't use it that often. Sometimes I do, but when I need it, I want it to be in there. So I'll try to give you a look at what this looks like and where to find it in your local store. You can order this online, but it is called Vital Wheat Gluten. And that's all it is. How simple is that? So I'm going to take you to one of our local stores here in Searcy and let you look at a package of it, see where it's found. And our local big store does not carry this, even though we have a super center and a neighborhood market. They do not carry this in store. But one of our local stores called Good Measure Market does. So go with me as we take a little trip to Good Measure, and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, we are at one of my favorite stores. This is called Good Measure Market, and they are easy to find if you're in Searcy. We're not a large town, so super easy to find. They have things that I can't normally find at at my big store and sometimes even specialty stores. And a lot of times the owners are so kind, they'll order things for me if I need them ordered and I just can't locate them. So anyway, let's go in and I'll show you exactly where to find something like this, the Vital Wheat gluten, when you go in a store. Okay, this is what their sign looks like. And we're headed in. Oh. Okay, so we have all our baking products right here, and let's see, I just saw it. She just showed it to me. Where'd it go? There it is, right down here. So you have your einkorn flour, your dark rye, your semolina, things like this, but this is what it looks like. Here's the price of it here. Considering how many cups of bread flour you can use, I'd say that's pretty cost effective. Some information on the back. It just contains Vital Wheat gluten. And of course, it's non-GMO. Okay, so now you know what Vital Wheat gluten is, you know what the package looks like, and you know someplace you can find it. Of course, you can find this online too if you don't live near Searcy, Arkansas. Thanks for going with us today, and we hope this has been beneficial to you in your baking needs. Just think, you don't have to buy a whole nother container to store that bread flour in. So hope this has been helpful. Thanks for joining us, and we look forward to sharing something again with you real soon. Bye.